Mac rapper. McKinley Phipps, Jr., born July 30, 1977, better known simply as Mac, is an American rapper and songwriter from New Orleans' Third Ward. Mac began rapping as a child, releasing his debut album The Lyrical Midget at the age of 13 in 1990, under the stage name Lil Mac. Mac would eventually sign with Masterpiece No Limit Records and would grow to be one of the most critically acclaimed artists on the label, both as a solo rapper and as a member of the supergroup 504 Boyz. Mac released 2 solo albums and 1 album as part of the 504 Boyz on No Limit, including 1998's Shell Shocked, which peaked at #11 on the US Billboard 200. In 2001, Mac was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 30 years in prison. He is currently serving his sentence at the Elayn Hunt Correctional Center in Louisiana. Phipps maintains his innocence, and his parents have campaigned to reopen the investigation into his case for many years. Career. Mac was born McKinley Phipps, Jr. to Sheila Phipps and McKinley Phipps Sr. He began his music career in 1990, and by the time he was 13 years old, under the name Lil Mac, he released his debut album, The Lyrical Midget. The album was one of the earliest commercial hip-hop albums to come out of New Orleans and featured production from New Orleans producer Mannie Fresh. Late 1990s, No Limit Records, Shell Shocked, and World War Roman III. Lil Mac would later join the Psycho Word, a New Orleans group consisting of more than 28 MC. Psycho Word is known in New Orleans for having a sound that separates itself from the usual bounce music and gangster/hustler lyrics that typifies most of the New Orleans rap scene, rather focusing on lyricism and a sound which could be described as a New Orleans Wu-Tang Clan. This made them favorites of local hip-hop fans, who often prefer this style to other local acts. In 1997, the group released their debut album, WWW. Psycho Word, come to acclaim, with many naming Lil Mac as the standout artist. After rejecting an offer to move to New York and sign with Def Jam Records, Lil Mac changed his name to simply Mac and signed with Masterpiece No Limit Records. He toured with No Limit throughout the US and Europe, and made guest appearances on many other artists' albums before releasing his own. He was featured on Masterpiece Ghetto D, Mystical's Unpredictable, and Maya X's Unladylike, among others. The next year, in 1998, Mac released his second solo album, and first with No Limit, Shell Shocked. The album is Mac's most commercially successful to date, reaching #11 on the Billboard 200. Mac again was featured on many other No Limit artists' releases that year. In 1999, he released his second album on the label World War Roman III. While it was still on the label, this release differed from usual No Limit releases in that it was not exclusively produced by the production team Beats by the Pound and featured only 3 guest appearances. The album did not fare as well commercially as his first No Limit release, peaking at #44 on the Billboard 200. Mac's musical style differed from many other Southern hip-hop artists in this period, and he often displayed a level of lyrical complexity that has come to be associated with East Coast hip-hop. 504 Boyz and later releases. World War Roman III would be Mac's last album released on No Limit and his last solo album to date, as he would be sentenced to a 30-year prison term for manslaughter after 19-year-old Baron C. Victor Jr. died from a gunshot wound in a Louisiana nightclub in 2001. In 2000, he joined the group 504 Boyz, whose name was a reference to the area code 504. The group was a collective of other No Limit rappers such as Master P, Silk the Shocker, and C Murder. Mac was with the group for one album, 2000's Goodfellas, which went gold and reached #2 on the Billboard 200. He was featured prominently on the group's hit single Wobble Wobble, rapping the first verse and the chorus. The song reached #17 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 2007, while Mac was still serving his prison term, No Limit released the album The Lost Tapes, which consisted of unreleased material Mac recorded with the label. On May 31, 2012, DJ 5150 released the mixtape Uptown Veterans, which is a compilation of Mac's greatest hits. Legal issues. On February 21, 2000, Phipps was scheduled to perform at Slidell, Louisiana nightclub Club Mercedes, but a fight broke out before the show that resulted in a gunshot that struck and killed 19-year-old Baron C. Victor Jr. after Victor attempted to break up the fight. Phipps was arrested and charged with second-degree murder of Victor. He was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 30 years in prison on September 21, 2001. He is currently serving his sentence at the Elayn Hunt Correctional Center in Louisiana. Days into the police investigation, Thomas Williams, a man who was working security that night at the club, confessed to shooting Victor after another patron charged him with a beer bottle. Despite this, police pursued charges against Phipps. In December 2014, Northwestern University's Medill Justice Project MJP, in partnership with The Lens, published the results of a 3-month investigation of Phipps' conviction, revealing that a key eyewitness at his trial gave his private investigator an affidavit in 2013 that stated she was coerced into identifying Phipps as the shooter because of investigators' threats to charge her. Following Medill's investigation, David Lower of the Huffington Post published the results of a 4-month review of Phipps' conviction, further revealing that 4 other witnesses to the shooting told the publication that they also were threatened, intimidated, or outright ignored by investigators. Phipps' family has since obtained affidavits from many of the individuals in an effort to get him a new trial. On March 25, 2015, rapper Killer Mike told students at Dillard University in New Orleans that it was unacceptable for authorities to use rap lyrics in the prosecution of Phipps. If we let this stand, what you are going to see is that tool is going to be used to wipe out an entire potential generation of artists out of our community. Phipps has applied for the Louisiana governor's clemency in 2016, asking to be released from prison for time served. In the petition sent to the Louisiana Board of Pardons and Parole, he seeks a commutation due to a wrongful conviction and excessive sentence, as evidence developed over the last 2 years, which includes, among other things, findings from MJP investigation. On February 22, 2021, the Louisiana Board of Pardons and Parole voted for Phipps' immediate eligibility for parole. On April 8, 2021, the Louisiana governor granted Phipps clemency. According to Louisiana law, Phipps has one more hearing before he is released. Discography: studio albums, collaboration albums. Goodfellas with 504 Boyz 2000. Compilation albums. Lost Tapes 2007. Mixtapes. Uptown Veterans 2012. Singles.